Okay, so tell me what the fuck happened to you.
Well, it was quite scary. We were in a demonstration yesterday to protest against capitalism and walking towards the harbour. And it was, once the demonstration started, we had about 30 minutes of walking, and all of a sudden we get stopped, or there are more and more cops all around us, and they press upon us, and they will force us into like small little groups, or pushing us into the middle. And after a while they stopped us completely, and we had a caravan in front of us with a guy speaking and sort of saying the chants and anti-capitalista and stuff like that, which was actually really good, which was what we were going to do. We were going to physically shut off the harbour for at least like a couple of minutes, and just make sure that they know hit the production was the theme of the demonstration. But the police guys climbed up on top of the truck, and it was quite a bit of turbulence up there, and they pushed the guys off. So they weren't on the truck anymore, and then they actually confiscated the truck and drove it off. And by then we got quite worried.
They took the truck?
Yeah, they took the truck and drove it off, and we were sort of like, what's going to happen now? And then one of them shouted in Danish, of course, like we couldn't understand, that we were all going to be able to continue demonstrating, and we were going to get our truck back. They just wanted to search us.
How many were there?
Oh my God, there were heaps of them. They were like, they had buses and buses. They must have had like 5 buses on one side, and I know that there are pictures of this somewhere, and there was a massive media crowd by that time, but they were kind of pushed off to the sides by the cops, so they wouldn't get close enough to take actual pictures. And they were actually, it felt like, or it probably was like that the police was there waiting for us right at this point in our demonstration to take us, because they didn't want us to ride the harbour, because they were scared of us doing something peaceful. So they closed us up, and after a while they said that, oh, by the way, no, you're not getting your stuff back, you're not going to continue to demonstrate, you're now arrested. And the crowd linked up on together, and we were quite scared now, and somebody started counting down, and by the time we hit 0, everybody was pushing and trying to push through the cops, and of course the cops reacted and pushed against the crowd. And even if, I was in the crowd and I didn't want to push against them, but there was like no choice. So you just had to sort of follow with to not get hurt or trampled upon. And the cops wanted us to sit down, which we couldn't, because there was literally no space to sit down. And by that time it got pretty violent. It was not the worst case that I've seen, but still, it was not nice. One of the girls next to me got beaten in the head by one of their batons. She got quite a severe injury and didn't get help either from the cops, of course. Other people got pulled in their hair, tried to sort of just sit down, and when we told them we couldn't, they just still put us back. And then I was one of the first who actually got cuffed and taken into one of the huge, like, they were tourist buses they had there, where they were going to keep people and then transport them off to the jail. And once we were in the jail, we got strip searched and all our...
You were strip searched?
No, not completely, but like thoroughly searched.
Yeah, and they took everything?
They took everything, of course, and like, yeah, but who are you and shit like that. And the girl by then, the other girl who was with me, she had still not gotten any medical attention, and she was asking for it, and she was in quite a lot of pain at that time. And I think she waited about 2 hours before she actually got a doctor, which was also quite remarkable. And we finally got into the cages, the famous cages, which actually are cages. They're about 2.5 by 5 meters. You get 10 women in there, and they're about, I guess, 10 or 8, like in 2 rows put together, so there will be 10 in one block, and then they are on the other side as well for the men, but they weren't at our place. And they were slowly filled, and we had like 2 benches and 3 little mats, and I could reach the ceiling, and not that tall, so it was about 2 meters maybe towards the ceiling of the inside of the cage. So if you had claustrophobia, you would not be okay with that, basically. And after about 2 or 3 hours, I guess it was around 5 p.m., things got sort of nasty. We started banging against the walls even more, and we were making noise, and we wanted to know why we were there, and we were getting frustrated, and yeah, but we just wanted out. Come on, we hadn't done anything wrong. We were demonstrating it. It's a democracy. We are allowed to demonstrate, but obviously we're not. Obviously, it's not democracy. So, while making a lot of noise, the cops got scared, and they pulled out the pepper spray. And by then we had gotten